This is Louis, and this is going to be a generic advertisement until I get caught up with all the content that I need to upload. Be sure to check out Play Asia using my affiliate link. If you're a walking wallet gamer like me, check out Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. I've played it, it's pretty good, and thanks to recent patches, it's almost completely functional. On the other hand, if you're a normie weeb, check out Persona 5, which is out now. I'm told that this is the best Persona game in years, which means nothing to me, but for you it could make the difference in buying it using my affiliate link. If you're an advanced weeb, and no, I don't mean advanced in that of an affliction, be sure to check out J-List for innocuous, non-degenerative material. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, go fuck yourself, and links for everything mentioned can be found in the description.
So this is Louis, and before we get to the rant that I recorded way back in March regarding Colin and Moriarty, I want to add this preface explaining a few things. I've had several people ask me if I'm willing to give Colin the benefit of the doubt, considering just how much he has been virtue signaling as of late in his support for free speech, and the answer is no. Just because someone spends all day on Twitter virtue signaling about supposed beliefs doesn't make it true, and my concern is with actions. Unlike Dave Rubin, who would apparently promote Anita Sarkeesian if she showed up for the interview and that day declare that she was in favor of free speech. I don't take known liars, hucksters, and corporatists at face value. And I do not get in bed with scum just because we, by appearance only, share some beliefs. Colin is seeking allies to lend him credibility because outside of his sycophantic audience, he has none. Colin was a personality at IGN, a third-party PR firm for the largest and most duplicitous video game publishers, for years. While there, he served the corporate interest like a good little toady and did so with Greg Miller. You need a quick summary of Greg Miller?
I can be sure that my gaming performance, good or bad, won't be attributed to or reflect on my gender as a whole.
He is a self-avowed feminist ally in gaming and an IGN corporate stooge. Someone like Greg could never be my friend. Being his friend would only serve to lend him my credibility and character to make up for his absolute deficit in both. Colin was friends with this guy, and enough of a friend to leave IGN to start his own business with a man. The Kind of Funny podcast was and is awful, in my view. I've listened to about 3 or 4 episodes and couldn't make it through any of them. Colin remained on the podcast with Greg for a few years in largely obscurity, from what I can tell, until just recently when he posted a bad dad joke on Twitter right after he did an interview with Dave Rubin. His former colleagues at IGN, his West Coast leftist friends, and even Greg Miller himself threw Colin under the bus, demanding an apology. Instead, Colin saw this moment as an opportunity, went on Dave Rubin's show for a second time and cried like a faggot, and is now our side's Zoe Quinn. I remember what Colin did. I know who his friends were. I know where he made his money, and I know that above all, Colin's primary concern is for Colin. If you want to get in bed with this piece of fucking shit, by all means, make that stupid choice, but I refuse. I've already warned those I concern myself with and consider credible to stay as far away from Colin as possible, as he is not someone anyone should want on their side. Where was he during the Mass Effect 3 controversy? At the tip of the spear on the wrong side. Where was he during the numerous controversies over consumer rights in gaming? At the tip of the spear on the wrong side. Where was he during Gamergate? He was dead fucking silent on Greg Miller's podcast. I don't fucking care what bullshit he's peddling now, because all he is an opportunist, a corporatist, and a coward. He stands for nothing, and I will never associate myself with him. If you want to get into bed with Zoe Quinn or Colin Moriarty, it's your choice to make, but they are the same person, and some of us aren't gullible or blind to what they are. With that said, we'll move on to the rant.
So this is Louis, and I guess this will be my final attempt to record a commentary about Colin Moriarty, about the controversy that he's now in, and how it's his fault, and how he deserves every bit of the social isolation and misery that he's currently likely experiencing. He deserves all of it and more, and unfortunately, because of my emotion that is tied into this issue, it's very hard for me to do this commentary without scripting it out, and I started a script and got about a quarter of the way through it and decided, you know what, I don't care. I don't want to go through that effort to do all that for this video. I just want to record my opinion on it and be done with it and not address it in the future. And this is why I don't want to talk about Mass Effect. I don't want to talk about BioWare to the depth that people want me to. I don't want to talk about it because this, to me, is just emotionally draining. I don't want to do it. It's going to require me to script out my exact feelings on the matter. And unfortunately, that's what most of this is. There are hard truths to this, but it is a lot of hard truths wrapped around a whole lot of just really dark emotion that I have towards this issue, because it is going back to the Mass Effect 3 controversy, which for me was a big deal. Mass Effect 3, that controversy was proto-Gamergate. And despite the emotion that you could obviously hear from me in my early videos on Gamergate and related to issues revolving around it, it doesn't even touch the amount of anger that I have, and it's embarrassing for me to admit that, because it's something petty. It's something that I should have the ability to let go, related to BioWare and Mass Effect 3 and that. And it is really centered around Colin in many ways because of the role that he played back then. It's amazing to me that people haven't heard of gamer entitlement, that people don't know who Colin is and what he did. Did you never watch IGN ever? I just don't understand where people are. Where people, like, everyone's fucking asking me who this guy is. What role did he play? What is this about? And it really is surprising to me that people just don't know. Maybe that's my fault. That's my own bias getting in the way, but I don't know. I'm going to put a little bit of the onus on you. If you don't know who Colin is, if you don't know what gamer entitlement is, if you had no idea what the Mass Effect 3 controversy... Oh, shit, here comes an ambulance. Okay, that's good. Anyways, getting back to it. Colin was... Nope, there's the siren. Colin was a journalist for IGN, and I say journalist loosely, because what Colin did, and what IGN is a public relations platform, a proxy public relations platform for the gaming corporations. IGN exists to spit shine every turd that the gaming industry shits out. You will see this routinely. With every game that is likely to have a poor release, IGN will come out to defend it. Consistently. That is what they do. They are a proxy public relations platform. That is what they are. And I'm sure that many of the so-called journalists that work there, to some depth, realize that. They realize that they are corporate shills at their core. That is what they are. They're not journalists. They don't do anything close to... What story are they breaking at IGN? You know what I mean? That isn't like, oh, there's going to be a fucking closed beta for this barely functional Ubisoft game, or, whatever. That's what they do. They're not journalists. They don't cover anything from the perspective of trying to protect consumer rights, which is really the only journalism that you can do, is go after collusion, corruption, and consumer rights, consumer protections. That's really all you have as a journalist for gaming. There's not much else to it. And they do none of that consistently. They have never done any of that. There is no lower platform in gaming than IGN. Despite all the shit when it comes to Polygon and all the rest, I mean, even there they pretend to have some kind of, greater notion of what they stand for. With IGN, it's just shilling for corporations and being the biggest shill out there. That's all they do. That's all they are. So I'll let that go and get back to Colin. But it is important, okay? The reason why I'm saying all this is because it lays out who Colin is at his core, who Greg Miller is at his core, who these people are at their cores, who they are. They are corporate shills that pretend to be something else, pretend to be something than what they are. Empty shells, vacuous human beings. That's who we're talking about. So Colin, while working for IGN, routinely does op-eds, and that's fine. If you work for an outlet, it's fine to do editorializing, okay? Despite how vacuous you are, it's fine to do that. Colin comes out with a video, and he lays out the notion of gamer entitlement, and this is at the start of the Mass Effect 3 controversy, which we're not going to get into, other than what I'll say in that the people, the supporters of the controversy of organizations or entities like Retake Mass Effect or the other entities that existed at the time that were organizing fans to try to do something for the industry, for the community, for somebody out there to recognize that gaming has an issue, and still to this day has an issue, with releasing bad products, with the portrayal and silencing of fan bases. That is still an issue of censorship, in that on Steam you'll see issues related to developers silencing negative comments, doing all that kind of thing. There are still ongoing issues with that, and that is what the issue surrounding Mass Effect 3 was. It was an issue of not just ethics, but an issue of consumer protections in gaming. And I know that people are going to make the core of that issue surrounding the ending and the emotional investment of fans. And yes, that is related to it, and I'm guilty of that myself. I am part of that in terms of my reasoning for why I cared, was my emotional investment as it related to my former fandom of BioWare and Mass Effect. That's my mistake, okay? I can recognize that. But the fact is that there was a serious issue related to that controversy, and you can disagree with what occurred, but there is that, and then there is what Colin did. Colin released what should be an infamous video, basically knocking down any notion, any sense of gamers as consumers having any entitlement to any minimal standard as it relates to the products that they're buying. You deserve nothing. You come out, you work your ass off, you shell out hundreds of dollars to buy a product, you deserve nothing in the eyes of Colin. You don't deserve any protections whatsoever. If that product was deceptively advertised, your fucking issue, bro. If it's non-functional day one, your fucking issue. If it is a piece of shit, it's just a bad fucking game that you try for a couple hours and you say, you know what, this is a piece of shit, I'm going to return this, and they don't allow you, or they try to cheat you out of your money or whatever, well, to Colin, that's on you. Fuck you. Buy our game. If it doesn't work or there's something wrong or you don't like it, fuck you. That's Colin's position. Eric Kane, to his credit, and to this day, is one of the only journalists in gaming that has ever, in any way talked about how much of an impact this video had, how damaging it was, and how it has done irreparable damage. And I'm sure that even now, if I asked Eric, would you agree that this issue, his video, this notion of gamer entitlement has done irreparable damage to gaming? I guarantee you Eric would say yes. There are many people that know and understand this issue that would say that it has done irreparable damage to gaming, because this is now prevalent as it relates to this community and to the industry, that gamers deserve nothing. If you buy a deceptively advertised or non-functioning product, it's your fucking issue to these people. And who spawned this? Wasn't me. Wasn't Eric. It was Colin in this video. He initiated this. He created this. This is him. This is all him. This is at his fucking feet. If I had a short list of the people that have irreparably damaged gaming, Anita Sarkeesian would be on it, but she would be second to Colin. Okay? That is how much damage Colin has done to gaming. If you know who Anita Sarkeesian is, you should know who Colin is. Okay? Because Anita Sarkeesian rode a wave of an existing sentiment, a growing issue, and she became the figurehead of it. Colin originated an issue in gaming that is to this day an issue. That is who he is. So it irritates me to no end to see how many fucking ignorant people there are out there that consider themselves to be gamers who don't know who this fucking cocksucker is. How can you not know? But let's just put all that aside. And you ask why I don't want to talk about this. You ask why I don't want to talk about Mass Effect. Why I don't want to talk about BioWare. Why I don't want to talk about this fucking guy. Why I don't want to. You know, this is years ago. And it's still to this day an issue for me. That I fucking hate this guy. I fucking hate him. And Anita Sarkeesian is annoying. She's an irritant at her worst. Colin is just this constant presence in gaming that refuses to go away, that has never apologized. Don't give me any of your bullshit about that fucking mealy-mouthed fucker Jim Sterling and him going over this issue and him going, blah, 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 blah. I wish I would have worded it better. Fuck your political answer. He's not sorry. He defends it to this day. Fuck him. Once a corporate shill, always a corporate shill. That's what he is at his core. Fuck him. Now we get to what's going on and how he is being ostracized, at least for now, by the people that I think he would probably call his friends because of this stupid joke that he tweeted out, which I made fun of him for. I don't know if people saw that as me, trying to agree with him or something. But no, I was genuinely mocking him for trying to seem edgy as it relates to feminism in gaming. Because, I mean, this is the guy that he got in bed with. Greg Miller, a self-avowed feminist, a guy that's been on a video with Feminist Frequency, okay? This is the guy that he considers to be a close friend. This is the guy that he started a business with. This is the guy that he surrounds himself with. This is the guy that he attached himself to after he left IGN. And Greg Miller was one of the first fucking people to throw Colin under the bus in a long-winded virtue signal tweet right after he sent this out. Greg Miller threw him under the bus completely, and I'm sure reprimanded him for this. Said, like, what are you doing? You are making me look bad to all of our journo friends. All of our fucking journo friends are feminists and are virtue signaling left-wingers from the Bay Area. You can't say this, Colin. You can't be edgy. Remember, Colin, you're a corporate shill. You're surrounded by fucking faggot feminists. You're not someone that can step out of line. You have your boundaries. Stick within them. And if you look at this timeline, which people on Kotaku in Action who are defending him, I'm not even going to go there. You know, if you consider yourself to be someone that is supportive of Gamergate, and you are in any way, defending this fucking guy, in any way defending him, or feel sorry for him, what is your damage? What is wrong with you? Are you fucking retarded? Are you just a masochist? What is wrong with you? He deserves everything that he gets because he made his bed with these people. This is his career. This is who he surrounded himself with, and he deserves it. He deserves Greg Miller as a fucking friend. He deserves it. He deserves the fact that no one's going to defend him. No one's going to have his back. No one around him is really a friend. They're not going to defend him in the slightest. They're going to fucking ostracize him and talk down to him and say, oh, poo-poo, you shouldn't have done this. Wag their finger right in his face. He deserves it. Fuck him. It doesn't matter how much fucking tedious shit he's willing to spew on his own podcast. It doesn't matter how much, forthright opinion he's going to give it. I've seen people on Fox News with more personality than this fucking guy. He's so vacuous. I just don't get it. I don't understand how this guy has an audience. I understand why I don't. With my personality, with the way that I conduct myself and the way that I can conduct this channel, I get why I'm small. And why, if I ever do grow, it's going to take a while. People are going to have to look past my personality and just say, like, well, despite this guy's issues, I've seen people say, despite this guy's a weeb, I like him. And I'm going to subscribe to him. And I get it. I understand that. And I'm fine with, the way things go with my channel and that. Myself as a quote-unquote personality and a commentator, I'm okay with that. But for Colin, you took the easier route. I know you like to get on there, oh man, I'm a hard worker and I'm a conservative, blah, 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 blah. I believe in hard work. You took the easy route. You joined a shill, the biggest shill corporation in gaming to shill for games. You shilled for games for years and then quit to form a podcast with the biggest shill that there ever was or will be. The biggest shill. People can talk about Dorito Pope and all that. No, Greg Miller is the bedrock shill in gaming. And that's who you decided to form a podcast with. You chose the easy route, and now you're reaping your rewards for doing so. Get out of fucking San Francisco. Move back to the East Coast. Find some new fucking friends. Find some actual friends, and stay the fuck out of gaming. Leave it and never return. I never want to hear your voice. I never want to hear your name again for the rest of my fucking life. And I know that people are going to look at this from the perspective of my emotion and see this as absurd, but no, it is in your interest for this guy to never be heard of again. You know, this guy is nothing but a detriment to gaming. You know, if you are a consumer, which we all are as gamers, this guy is not serving your interests. This guy's presence is not serving your interests. I mean, people can talk all they want about Leigh Alexandra and all the rest. Okay, what about Colin? It's important to recognize that, you know, Gamergate really was a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing. It really was, despite the fact that it may have been like 50,000 people or so in total. I'm sure it was more than that, but that was a once-in-a-lifetime event. And with the Mass Effect 3 controversy, we didn't have that kind of grassroots organization, which happened with Gamergate. For me, the Mass Effect 3 controversy remains an unresolved issue because the gross and hypocritical things to come out of that event have not been solved. They continue to be ongoing issues. We continue to, and not just in the sense of being a Mass Effect fan. I'm sure those of us that are fans that watch the farce that is Mass Effect Andromeda, you know, I'm sure we all watch that with a form of glee and also despair. That's one side of this, but also at the same time, the real practical consumer issues that exist with what surrounded the Mass Effect 3 controversy, those things are still ongoing. That is still an issue in gaming. The total lack of legitimate criticism of video games from the position of a consumer. And I know that, you know, people can say, well, Louis, why don't you do it? I don't have the personality to do this kind of thing. You have to have a certain kind of analytical mindset, but also a certain kind of genius in organizing, and you know, and that isn't easy. It requires a certain kind of charisma, which I believe Sargon has, and that's why he has grown. You require that to have some kind of real reform in gaming, which I believe it does. You know, everyone's waiting for the fucking crash or whatever. That's stupid. That is a utopian bullshit way to look at this. It's a fatalistic thing. What you need to do is look at this from a position of reforming gaming. And unfortunately, I don't think we have those voices. I know that people like to talk about Total Biscuit or some of the others. I don't agree. I just don't agree. We don't have the personalities out there yet, or the reformers out there, to engage with this industry in any real way to reform it. They do not exist yet. Angry Joe is another person that people invested a lot into, falsely, I think. I think that Angry Joe was always just a personality and a commentator who I like, and I still watch, and I know that people have misgivings about him, but I still like Angry Joe, and I never expected him to be the reformer that gaming desperately needs. It was good to see him back in the day take Dorito Pope and others to task in their bullshit. It was good to see him do that, and I hope that one day he will find it in him to return to that position, but I don't think he will, because he has become an insider, and unfortunately that former part of him has been formatted. I don't think it exists anymore, unfortunately. But we need more people like former Angry Joe, you know, old Angry Joe, in that role of just real muckraker, you know, real shit kicker, just rolling in and really taking people to task. I mean, Angry Joe did some ballsy shit back in the day. I don't think people give him enough credit for that. Any person that's not serving that purpose as it relates to gaming, you got to recognize for what they are. You know, Angry Joe is a commentator. He's a reviewer at best, you know. Otherwise, he's just a commentator. He's just a personality. Total Biscuit is just a commentator. He's just a personality. He's not some big fucking reformer. He's not some beacon for anything. He's just a commentator. And understand that I'm not that guy either. You know, I could never reach the position of being that guy. I couldn't do what Angry Joe used to do. I couldn't do that. That's what a journalist should do. Roll into a convention and confront these fucking cocksuckers. When are they not lying about their products? When are they not doing that? When are they not deceptively advertising their products? When are they not doing that? And no one holds them to account. At least no one that's big. I mean, maybe you can direct me to some YouTuber that does do that. Censored Gaming is a channel that I follow that deals with, the products that are mislabeled, that are mishandled, that are deceptively advertised because they've been censored and they've had content just chipped away from them. And that's never been brought up. So that's one channel I do watch, and it's small. It's got multiple people uploading to it, but it's small. And it's because I don't think that anyone really there has the real fortitude and the charisma to really drive that channel forward. And that's it's not me trying to slate those people, but it's true about me. But I'll just leave it there because I've been talking enough about this. Thanks for listening. And like I said, I apologize for the quality of this, but I'll try to do something decent in the future. All right, thank you.